The morning of April 12, 1981 dawned crisp and clear in Keddie, California. Nestled amidst the towering pines, Keddie was known for its tranquility. But that tranquility was about to be shattered. At the edge of town stood Cabin 28, home to the Sharp family. 14-year-old Sheila Sharp returned home to a nightmare. In the living room, a scene of unimaginable brutality awaited. Her mother Sue lay lifeless, bound and brutally murdered. Her brother John and his friend Dana suffered the same fate. Keddie was thrust into the national spotlight, forever marked by this heinous crime. Keddie wasn't a town, it was a whisper in the woods. A smattering of cabins huddled together against the chill of the Sierra Nevada. Life here was simple, a world away from the hustle and bustle of city life. The Sharp family, new arrivals to this sleepy haven, were drawn to its promise of peace and a fresh start. Sue Sharp, a single mother battling her own demons, was determined to provide a stable life for her 5 children. John, the eldest at 15, was a typical teenager, navigating the choppy waters of adolescence. Sheila, 14, was finding her own way, seeking independence and connection. Tina, the quiet and watchful 12-year-old, observed the world with wide, curious eyes. The 2 youngest, Ricky and Greg, brought a much-needed dose of childhood energy to the family. The Sharps, despite their struggles, were finding their footing in Keddie. Children played in the woods, their laughter echoing through the trees. Neighbors helped neighbors. It was a place where doors were left unlocked and trust ran deep. But beneath the surface of this idyllic mountain town, darkness lurked, waiting for the opportune moment to rear its ugly head. The days leading up to April 11th seemed like any other in Keddie. The sun cast long shadows. Children played in the creek, their laughter mingling with the murmuring water. But looking back, there were subtle hints, unsettling whispers of the darkness that was to come. On the Sharp cabin buzzed with an unusual energy. Teenagers came and went, drawn to the lax supervision at the Sharp residence. Music spilled out into the night, a discordant soundtrack to the unfolding tragedy. Among them, a friend of John's who lived nearby with his mother and stepfather, Marilyn and Martin Smart. As the night wore on, tensions seemed to rise. Arguments erupted, fueled by alcohol and teenage angst. Sounds of laughter from Cabin 28 now heard raised voices, a cacophony of anger and frustration. Little did they know that these seemingly ordinary teenage squabbles would be the prelude to an unimaginable horror. Laughter would be silenced, replaced by the chilling silence of unspeakable violence. The scene that greeted investigators on that fateful morning was a gruesome tableau. The once peaceful cabin was now a chaotic mess, furniture overturned, blood splattered on the walls and floor, a testament to the brutality inflicted. Sue Sharp, her hands bound with medical tape, had been savagely beaten and stabbed multiple times. Her body lay sprawled on the living room floor, her eyes forever frozen in a mask of terror. John Sharp and Dana Wingate, discovered side by side in the tiny bedroom they shared, had been bludgeoned and stabbed with a ferocity that defied comprehension. The murder weapon, a hammer and a knife, lay amidst the carnage, silent witnesses to the savagery. Fear hung heavy in the air, a palpable presence that sent chills down the spines of even the most seasoned investigators. But it was the absence of 12-year-old Tina that was most chilling. Had she been taken by the killer? A terrifying thought that gnawed at the edges of the investigation, adding another layer of urgency to the already frantic search for answers. The missing girl became a haunting symbol of the unanswered questions that plagued the case. Where was Tina? Was she alive, held captive somewhere, or had she met a fate as grim as her family? Section 5. A flawed investigation. The initial investigation into the Keddie Cabin murders was, by all accounts, chaotic and, well, riddled with missteps. The small Plumas County Sheriff's Department, ill-equipped and inexperienced in handling a crime of this magnitude, was quickly overwhelmed. Crucial evidence was mishandled, potential witnesses were overlooked, and the crime scene itself was compromised, trampled by first responders and curious onlookers. Communication breakdowns plagued the investigation. Leads were lost in a maze of bureaucratic red tape. The gravity of the crime scene, the sheer brutality of the murders, seemed to paralyze the small-town law enforcement agency. The investigation, hampered by a lack of resources and a palpable sense of disbelief, stumbled from one dead end to another. Days turned into weeks, weeks into months, and still, the case remained unsolved. The killer, it seemed, had vanished into the dense woods surrounding Keddie, leaving behind a trail of unanswered questions and a community grappling with fear and uncertainty. The once peaceful town was now a place of suspicion and paranoia, the idyllic image of small-town life shattered by the knowledge that such a horrific crime could happen in their midst. As the initial shock of the murders subsided, whispers began to circulate through Keddie. Fingers pointed and suspicion fell on anyone who had even a remote connection to the Sharp family. The rumor mill churned, fueled by fear and speculation. The lack of answers only deepened the mystery, turning neighbors against neighbors, casting a pall over the once tight-knit community. Among the names whispered most frequently were Martin Smart, the stepfather of John's friend Justin Eason, and John Bo Bubaid, a known criminal and acquaintance of Smart. Smart, a Vietnam veteran with a history of mental instability, had allegedly confessed to the murders in a letter to his therapist, a claim he later recanted. Bubaid, with his violent past and connections to the case, became a person of interest, but no concrete evidence linked him to the crime scene. The investigation, already marred by errors, seemed to become further entangled in a web of hearsay and conjecture. Without a clear suspect or a solid motive, the case grew colder with each passing season. The families of the victims, desperate for answers, were left to grapple with their grief and frustration, their pleas for justice seemingly lost in the dense woods surrounding Keddie. Over the years, the Keddie Cabin Murders have become a breeding ground for theories, each more chilling and convoluted than the last. Was it a random act of violence, a case of wrong place, wrong time? Or did a more sinister motive lurk beneath the surface, one rooted in the dark underbelly of small-town secrets and long-held grudges? Some whisper of a drug deal gone wrong, pointing to the presence of teenagers and potential drug activity at the cabin that night. Others believe the murders were a result of domestic dispute, a tragic culmination of family tensions boiling over. Still, others cling to the theory of a cover-up, alleging that the killer was someone known to the community, someone powerful enough to manipulate the investigation and bury the truth. The lack of concrete evidence has allowed these theories to fester, taking on a life of their own in the absence of facts. The truth, it seems, remains elusive, lost somewhere in the dense woods surrounding Keddie, a haunting reminder of the unsolved crime that continues to grip the nation's imagination. Just when the trail seemed to have gone cold, a flicker of hope emerged from the shadows. In 2016, over 3 decades after the murders, a hammer was discovered near the site of the Keddie cabins, a discovery that sent shockwaves through the community and breathed new life into the investigation. Could this be the long-sought-after murder weapon, the key to unlocking the secrets of that fateful night? Further fueling the embers of hope was the discovery of Tina Sharp's remains in 2016. A skull, identified through DNA analysis, confirmed the grim reality that the missing 12-year-old had met an untimely end. The location of her remains, over 100 miles from Keddie, added another layer of complexity to the case, deepening the mystery surrounding her disappearance, and suggesting a level of premeditation that sent chills down the spines of investigators. These recent developments, while heartbreaking, have brought renewed attention to the Keddie Cabin Murders. Law enforcement, armed with new technology and a fresh perspective, have revisited the case, determined to uncover the truth that has eluded them for so long. The families of the victims, their hopes rekindled, cling to the belief that justice, though long delayed, may yet be served. The Keddie Cabin Murders, with their haunting brutality and baffling lack of answers, continue to cast a long shadow over the town of Keddie and the national consciousness. The case, a stark reminder of the darkness that can lurk beneath the surface of even the most idyllic communities, has become a chilling fixture of true crime lore, inspiring books, documentaries, and countless amateur investigations. The impact on the community of Keddie has been immeasurable. The once peaceful town, forever linked to the tragedy, has struggled to move on. Many residents, haunted by the memories and the unanswered questions, have chosen to leave, seeking solace in anonymity. Those who remain bear the weight of the tragedy, their lives forever changed by the events of that fateful night. Through it all, the families of the victims have endured, their grief compounded by the lack of closure. They continue to advocate for justice, their voices a poignant reminder of the human cost of this unsolved crime. The Keddie Cabin Murders serve as a chilling reminder that some wounds, no matter how deep, may never fully heal, and some questions may never find their answers. Please like, comment, and share this video if you found it intriguing. Your support helps us bring more mysteries to light.